I was honestly thinking about doing what Brian Urlacher did, just get some implants.
Oh yeah, for real?
Yeah, have you noticed also too? Well, speaking of Gainz podcast and content of what we're talking about today is there's been a lot of male influencers lately going to like Europe or whatever and getting. I mean, it might be cheaper, but I couldn't see how it would be because you have to travel and like stay in another country. Like it would have to be like really like cheap compared like for me to like go like. I mean, how far is the flight to Europe for crying out loud? Like,
it's probably at least $1,000 for the tickets. So it's
yeah.
like, what does it cost? Like $11 for the operation? You know, it's like.
Yeah. But like I see it. I saw it on like Parker Physique. He's like a big influencer. He's been around forever. And then Nate Figueroa. I don't know if you know him. He was like a fitness YouTuber that would just like do like smaller eating challenges, and he would just eat like these gross challenges like 10K calorie challenges. And then now he's like a competitive eater kind of, but like he's never like been on like Furious Pete's level, like stuff like that. But he just got the surgery, or not the surgery, but like I don't know if it's called consider, I don't know, maybe it is, but like he just did that too. And I'm like, damn, dude, like two people I know out of like the like only maybe a couple like 1,500 people I follow. Like that's like crazy because that's a pretty big number, even though like, but they did the same thing. They went to like the like same like doctor, I feel like, and they did like the same thing. They posted on YouTube too. I don't know. Maybe by the time I go fully bald, maybe there'll be a better solution or a cheaper solution in the U.S. But I'm not really worried about it. I'm only worried about it because I can't grow facial hair. So I feel like I'm just gonna look like a naked mole rat with like some eyebrows. So like I keep a clean shaven face like all the time. I mean I've had the mustache before, but it's just too much maintenance. It just feels gross. I feel like for me at least. Maybe other people listening, but I feel like facial hair still feels kind of gross to me. It's like after a while it gets just annoying because you gotta like trim it, you have to like brush it, like you gotta put these oils into it or like lotions, because like if you don't, your like for me, like when I had a mustache, like if I didn't put oil in it, it just like felt gross all day and it felt like really dried out. And also too, my facial hair is like really fine instead of like thick. So like I wish I had like my buddy Dan that works with us at the same company, but like my buddy Dan, who's got like the wicked beard all the time, like but he's like bald, but he could grow like a mean beard. So it's like it doesn't even, I feel like it never even phased him because he wears like a hat and he's got the beard. He's like he's looking pretty cool, it's like you can't ever tell. So
yeah. And I just recently started shaving more often. I was like, I like hadn't shaved for like maybe years in Chicago, and I was like, all right, well, maybe I'll start like going clean shaven.
Yeah, I just made the switch, buddy. I went from razor blades to an electric shaver.
Oh, nice. Okay. I would just like buzz before, and I've been using like razor blades recently.
I haven't used an electric shaver in like 10 years, and I just feel like my skin just like I can only shave like once a week with a blade because my skin will just like break out. Like I just have like sensitive ass skin. So like that's why I was like, let me try the electric shaver. Like a good one's like $65. But if you think about it, like if you get blades, like it's like $10 a month pretty much for blades. And if you think about it, if the electric shaver lasts the 6 months, then the investment was properly made. So it's like, even if this thing doesn't last me the full year, but like I know people that like swear electric shavers, like the only thing is it just doesn't get as close as the regular blade, which I'm not too worried about it as long as it looks clean shaven and I don't look like a bum. Like I could care less. Like you could still do, like I got one that you could shave wet or dry, so it's like it's cool because you could do either one. And I prefer the shaving cream and stuff, so I still do like wet shaves and whatnot. So
nice.
I don't know. Welcome to the Gainz podcast, where we talk about men etiquette, men care. We talk about the finest men's lotions that are out, DIYs, men's health and fitness sometimes, not all the time. But this is the new Gainz podcast. We're switching into a male lifestyle channel. So
So when you use like a razor, do you usually like wash your face first and then do you use like aftershave afterwards?
I typically just shave after showering, and then so my face is clean from like washing in the shower. But if I didn't take a shower, then I would wash my face first. And then yeah, I have this aftershave lotion where it's like a lotion and like technically an aftershave. And it's pretty nice in the summertime because it has like menthol in it, and it like cools like the face, and like when wind touches your face, it's like cooling instead of like feels like it's burning. So
nice, very cool.
I don't know. Do you want to change the channel to men's lifestyle? If you're a man, or you consider yourself a male or a man, we are gonna change and cater the channel towards you from now on.
What should I get for then in that case?
Some what?
What should I get for gel for the hair?
I was never a big fan of gel, never a big fan of like balm and stuff. I always trained it. Like, so like, I feel like if you do something to your hair enough, it'll train and do it on its own. I mean, I'm not the guy for that.
Like how to train a dragon, train it?
Yes, exactly like that. So if you knew how to train a dragon, you can know how to make your hair style the way you want it to. I'm trying to remember. Sam's brothers use a lot of they use hair product, and I'm trying to think of the brand, but I'd say go with the one with the least amount of chemicals.
Nice.
Or what I could do is I could package you some of my forehead oil since I don't run out of it. I will package you some oil, ship it to your place, and you could just use my oil for my forehead, and I bet you could style your hair any way you wanted to.
It's like super straightforward marketing. It's just called Antoine's Scalp Oil.
Exactly. Like, dude, I've been trying to I'm purposely trying to dry out my skin now because dude, I just wiped it before getting on camera, so it's probably not as shiny, but it's still pretty shiny. But I wipe it every 2 hours, and bro, there's just nasty oil all over the toilet paper or the tissue paper every time I wipe it. So
how hot is AZ today, buddy?
Today is I think 100, and it's hard, man. It's it's hard to remember. It's probably 105, 106 because of the fact that I know it's just hot. It's just I don't pay attention to the weather that much. The only time I pay attention to the weather is because of the running aspect of it. Because they have something on the Weather Channel app where it shows you the best times and the days that have the best average of running with weather and stuff. Today was actually a 7, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. Today, when I started, I think it said 5 to 6 a.m. was a 7, so it was only an hour, but it drops down to a 6 and a 5, and then probably right now is a 1 or a 2. So
yeah, it'd be rough to run right now.
Yeah, we could just get into that if you want, but today I hit 18 miles, so that's a PR. Speaking of which, Roman, I don't know if you saw the post, didn't you, on Instagram?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, did you see the change? I wanted to tease it out a little bit. Did you see the change on the post at all, or no?
No.
Well, guys, guess what? I made a lifestyle change. I made a transition, as you would say, from Vivo Barefoot Trails. And
oh yeah, you got Hoka's. Yeah, I did see that.
I bought my first pair of running shoes, man. You know what? I did my research. I did all the stuff. I tried it on. I tried a pair on at Dick's Sporting Goods, that is. Nothing else. Yeah. But no, my brother owns a bunch of pairs of Hoka's, and I just been seeing them a lot more, but not as much in the running space. So I wanted to do my research and whatnot, and I didn't buy them there. And they on the website they have like expedited shipping. They have like a 30-day return policy. Like even if you run in with them, and like my biggest thing was it was either I did Amazon Prime and they don't have them on Amazon, or I go direct because I feel like if I went to like Dick's and I try to return them after a run, like they'd be like, buddy, sorry, we can't return them. Like they're clearly used. But Hoka has like a strict, like even if you look at the reviews, it's like they have a great customer service aspect to their company where like in the comments, like people would say like, hey, I got this model, but for some reason I just don't like the newer model. And then thankfully like Hoka's return policy is so great because I got this model and I'm just loving the shoes. Like so they're really good about like their return policy and exchange policy. And also too with the Vivo Barefoots, I probably mentioned on one of the episodes. And I know I probably could have did it without like changing the shoes. And I use those shoes for hiking too. So it probably wouldn't have been a bad thing if I bought different shoes because I was wearing out my main hiking shoes, which the point was for like mostly hiking and like using them like off trail. I've noticed like every time I did longer distances, my tops of my feet, like where my bone is sitting right before the toes, it would just like I would have to like pretty much like muster through a run, and to the point where like my bone was getting hurt. Like I felt like it wasn't helping. Like, and I was like, maybe I need to get used to it. And then I ran like 11 miles. Maybe I need to get used to it. I ran 12 miles. So don't like obviously don't invest into like an expensive pair of shoes unless you like Roman and I do. We try to do as like cheap as possible, as frugal as possible. But because of that, that's why I got to the point where I wanted to look in like to more sturdier shoes, running shoes, so I can have that platform where I didn't have to worry about those issues. Because today, no problems at all, like with like the bone pain at all. The only problem I had was I wore like my crappy thin socks in their new shoes, and Sam goes, why are you running 18 miles at your brand new pairs? In me, I'm a harsh reviewer. Like if they can't handle the worst, then don't give me the. I'm not gonna wear them during my best. So I wanted to give them a big review and a big exposure to like running. And because I was wearing my crappy socks, I did have some irritation like on my like the outsides of my foot, like the inner part of both feet. And like I have a little blister, but it's like nothing big. And I think it's because of the socks. And I think it's just because the shoe's not broken in. But like everything else, like, man, it's like a difference. Like it's like, yeah, you can't feel like a damn thing. So the only limiting factor, which like we talk about with lifting, is like say if we're doing like a hamstring exercise, like I don't want my grip to be like a limiting factor on RDLs. So like that's why I would use straps or chalk. So we want like the muscle targeted as little as possible with other factors. We don't want any other factors touching it. So I thought of it kind of like that way. And today with the running, the only thing honestly that like messed me up a little bit was like the Arizona heat, where it's just really hot. Like I did one liquid IV, and then I had a big meal beforehand. I had one liquid IV in my 2.5 liter Camelback backpack. I ran out of water by mile 14.
Dang.
And yeah. And so when I got to like mile 16 or 15, my mouth was like completely dry. I kept running, but like I got to the point where I didn't have like any saliva in my mouth. And I knew if I kept running like that, it would probably be really dangerous to me. So I did the responsible thing. Thankfully, my clubhouse has a gym. I had 1.4 miles left remaining. I was at like 16.64. And I went to the clubhouse. I drank a bunch of water because I paused my workout on my watch. I was like, let me pause it. Let me take a second. And I drank a ton of water, and then I got back on the treadmill and finished to the 18-mile mark. So yeah, overall, and of course, and I said I was going to buy liquid carbs, didn't buy liquid carbs, didn't buy any of the stuff. My brother thankfully gave me like a whole bunch of liquid IV packets, which I couldn't believe how expensive they are when I went to the store. Like, holy shit. So hopefully those last for a while because I don't want to buy any more of those because I just am so cheap. So, but I think if I had liquid carbs with me and maybe like one with like caffeine, because I know they make some with like 50 milligrams of caffeine, like one of those and the rest like liquid carbs. Or I might get like, what is it called? Dextrose powder.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I might invest in maybe some dextrose powder to throw in my water too.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I'm telling you, if I was fueled up properly and I had better hydration, it would have been fine. It just I got to the point where I knew my limit and I knew I wanted to hit 18 and like man, I went to the clubhouse, man. It was like freaking 71 degrees in the gym. I'm like, oh, this feels so amazing. Like I was sweating so bad and like it felt so cold because like it just felt like it just totally different because it was like almost 90 degrees by the time I got done running. But yeah, I woke up earlier today. I woke up at 4:30 in the morning and I started around like 5:10. Nice. So I usually would wake up at like 5 and start at like 5:40.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have the Hokas around? Can you show and tell?
Yeah. Just talk for a second. I'll grab them.
Sweet. Yeah, I've definitely checked out Hokas before at REI. I've never found one in particular that kind of like caught my eye, but I know that they're very popular in the running community.
Ready for this? You're gonna love look at this. Let's see if I can.
Yo, that's such an Antoine shoe. I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah. So the funny thing was because I wanted to get them before my next run, which was today, and I was talking to my brother on the phone while I was ordering them on my phone, and I was gonna order the wides, right? Because like I'm coming from a barefoot shoe, and I don't know how like narrow they would be, but I ordered a regular size shoe, and like I was gonna exchange them after today for a pair of wides, but I measured like the sole and like the bottom portion. Obviously, the bottom portion is not really going to give you the width of like where your foot's sitting in because they're just like they have like the cushion and whatnot. But it wasn't that far off from Vivo Barefoots. It was like maybe like a quarter of an inch, maybe a little bit more than that. And honestly, running on them today, I didn't feel like any trap within the width. So I was glad because I really like this color scheme, yeah. and they don't sell them in the wides. So they sell like more boring colors in the wides. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna get them. Like I was like, I'm not gonna exchange them for the wides. There's no point. Because the only thing is, the problem for me with like typical shoes, and that's why I'm glad I made the transition to barefoot, is it's more so my like pinky toe. So like if I notice like a shoe is narrow, my pinky toe would be close up to my fourth toe, and it would bother me. So that was like my main concern with running because like if my toes are too close to each other, like I feel claustrophobic. And you probably felt this before too.
Yeah, I was spent a decent amount of time on like the beach and like stuff like that, and I was like looking at my feet like kind of splayed out the other day. I was like, dang, the wide toe box like has a pretty dramatic effect on like the splaying of your toes and all that stuff.
Your toe posture, maybe.
Toe posture, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, so it was interesting to observe. Like my pinky toe is like way out here,
Yeah.
Oh, it's like all like tucked under and stuff like that. Like you'll see people like their feet look like they're kind of like in bondage or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm gonna keep them. They were like 120. They were like 120 with free expedited shipping. So they were actually cheaper than my Vivos. Because my trail shoes were like 140 and my Primus lights were 160.
Dang.
So I told Sam, I'm not buying shoes for like another 5 years. Like I'm done buying shoes, man. It's just like crazy how expensive they are.
Yeah, I'm proud of you for treating yourself, buddy. You deserve it.
Well, I'm so cheap, man. Sam's just said like you got to stop being like this because like it takes me like a week to decide on a purchase, and I'm like it's just this is me, man. I wish I didn't have these problems.
No, you want to make sure that they're right, and it sounds like you're like what you found and like what you researched was perfect, and that like it met your needs. So it's awesome.
Let's get it, man. This is lightweight. Like I said, I just need to figure out the other stuff now, and maybe I'll be good. But I'm not probably running 19 miles until August. So
okay.
I've decided to only do like one long like PR mile a month because of the fact that I was so ahead of schedule. I just didn't want to keep running at those levels.
Yeah.
But
What
about? Yeah, go ahead.
You just got back to Arizona, weren't you in Illinois for a bit?
Yeah, for only like 3 days. It was like just a weekend. Yeah. It was just a weekend, and I got back last Monday.
Nice.
So, but what about you, buddy? How's lifting and everything now back in Massachusetts? What's your situation? And then like, what have you been doing now?
I mostly work out at Planet Fitness with my brother. We're probably
and before you guys hate on Roman, I was a member of Planet Fitness too, so don't even hate. No matter where you go, there's a place that gets swole.
No, it's dope. It has pretty much everything that I need.
Besides the squat bar, right? Like there's no free bars, right?
Yeah, but like with the hernia, because I don't know, because like I had an appointment today, and he's like, maybe it's a hernia. He was like, but maybe it was just like a muscle strain. So I have like a follow up with him in 6 weeks.
But also too, but besides the squats, like you love the Smith machine squats before this, so it's like not even a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. But I won't do Smith machine for a bit because anything that like requires a Valsalva maneuver, like in my opinion, is too high a risk to further increase the risk of injury. Yeah. So instead, what I'm doing for like this upcoming block is walking dumbbell lunges, Bulgarian split squats for multi-joint movements for the legs. I'll do like maybe 1 or 2 sets of RDLs once or twice a week, and I'm gonna go super like light into it for hamstring movements. But then it's like leg extensions, seated leg curls for legs. So I'm not like deadlifting. I'm not really squatting, other than maybe some air squats as like a warm-up type dealio, because I think that's still super important. But yeah, anything that like requires a Valsalva maneuver, I've stayed away from pretty much since March 14th or 15th. But yeah, so we got shoulders and arms today. So shoulders have probably been like my most fun thing to do recently.
And you've been working out with your brother, right? A lot now. So.
Yeah, now with Mason, and he's a beast in the gym. He like pushes every set to failure. It's so funny.
You said he's obese?
No, he's like a tank in the gym.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you said obese. Sorry.
But he'll like push every set to failure. I'm like, it's okay to leave a couple in the tank, and then we'll progress. He's like, no, I gotta go to failure and stuff like that. So he'll just be like lateral raises. I'll be like,
hey, you know what? Hey, I told you before, dude. That was my problem before. I kept doing what you were saying is like kept leaving stuff in the tank, and I felt like that's what's made me stay so strong while doing this running is like I've been trying to like push it to the point where like obviously I'm not going to injury and like total failure, but like I think that's why I've been staying as strong as I am, because it's like and also growth wise too, like I feel like I'm just like blowing up on size still, and I haven't gained or lost like any weight. So it's like maybe Mason needs to do this until like he shows like the negative impact of things is like maybe he gets joint soreness, and then you're like, well, maybe you shouldn't be like doing lateral raises until you're dying. Like maybe your shoulder needs a break, and maybe you need to leave some in the tank. So maybe that's like a good thing to do, right?
And that's an awesome point. I'm glad that you brought it up. We'll make like variations to like the workout plan, like on the fly, or to just like grips. So for example, I remember this might have been actually back in May, but we were working out together and we were doing a tricep movement. I think it was like overhead tricep extension. And he was like, I don't really feel it here. Like I feel it here, like more in his elbow. So I was like, okay, this adjustment. And he was like, yep, I feel it more here now. So like that's super important. If you're doing a movement and you want to do that movement, you want to continue to do that movement, but let's say like it's a tricep movement, it's causing you some like slight elbow pain, change the position to which like it's like on the cables, for example. And let's say you're doing like an overhead like rope cable extension, change the positioning of where the cable starts. So let's say the cable starts at the bottom. Some companies will say like that's the 1 position. Move it up to like the 10 position, for example, like right at like the base of your neck, and then pull from there and see if that affects things. Or bend over and have it above you, bend over and then do the overhead extensions. You know, you just have to bend over to a degree to which like I believe you're hitting the long head. But experiment with those kind of things, because what you're doing when you do that, like SSD Able, I think, is his channel on YouTube and on Instagram. But Able, I can't think of his other name. But
well, also too, like Mike Yisrael says that too. It's like he said if your goal is hypertrophy, like hypertrophy, not hypertrophy. Sorry, my mind is just overexhausted right now. But the goal is like to do that movement is like, you know, less joint pain as possible to get the maximum benefits, and what's going to grow that muscle more. So like just because Roman could do the overhead tricep press and Mason obviously might not be able to focus on like the tricep as well, like now Roman's like, well, let's change it up for you and let's see where both of us can take advantage of this instead of just one of us. Because like the whole point is for both of them to get stronger, not just one of them. So
yeah, and like what's happening is like you might be changing the torque at which like the cable it starts and you break inertia. So that might be enough, which causes like less discomfort, or you just feel more stimulus to the targeted muscle. And that's like what Mike Zutel will talk about, is like maximizing or optimizing like this the stimulus to fatigue ratio, or SFR. So super important to do. Same thing with like bicep movements. Like you'll see people on Instagram, they'll say like, okay, don't do it wide, don't do it close, only do it at the angle of pull for the biceps. Like some people might have flexible enough wrists where they can do it out wide and they feel a better pump when they do it wide as opposed to close. Some people just can't do straight bar, for example, and they need an easy curl bar. So if you find that you're getting like discomfort in the elbow, the shoulder joint, the knees, the hips, try and make some variations. If you're working with a personal trainer, let them know like, hey, I'm actually experiencing a little bit of discomfort in my hip. Have them change things up. Like some people have such long femurs when they're squatting, for example, that it's beneficial for them to lift their heel. So do a lifted heel. It could be like 5-pound plate. It could be wedges. It could just be Olympic weightlifting shoes. And that enables them to be able to like get into the optimal positioning that they want, to be able to like stimulate the quads, to be able to stimulate the hips, to be able to like stimulate like an upright torso as much as like that person's like biometrics or biomechanics like will allow them to do. So make sure to always communicate that forward to either like your lifting partner or your personal trainer if you're working with a personal trainer, or if you train yourself, just experiment with some things.
Yeah, just write it down too. Like exactly. because if like one of my two friends, that one that lives out here and then one back home, that we because we all worked at the restaurant together, and then like my one buddy works at the same company I do now, and then the other guy is doing realting, and he was letting me know like he wasn't recording anything. And then I was like, well, if you don't want to bring a notepad, like obviously a notepad's a little bit harder because you have to have a pen, you always have to have it with you. I said, just throw it, like what I do is I throw it in my Apple Notes, and I told him like write down what you lifted, write down the weights, sets, reps, and write down how you're feeling. So if everything felt good, also too, what Roman was alluding to is the next day or the 2 days afterwards, if you're experiencing like wrist pain and you just did straight barbell curl, then you know like, hey, 2 days ago I hit straight barbell curl and my wrists are just like just toasted. And like your wrist should not be toasted. Like your biceps should be toasted. So like then next week when you hit biceps, or like 2 days, 3 days later when you hit that muscle group again, then you're like, maybe I should try dumbbells. Maybe I should try them seated. Maybe I should try them standing. Maybe I should do the cable. Maybe I should do easy curl. So it's like that. Those are the things is like I feel like get underappreciated. And I like yesterday I saw two guys, and I'm pretty sure like one of them owns a clothing company. Bless you. Shout out to Cutthroat Bodybuilding. I didn't talk to the guy or follow him, but like I know, like I saw his Instagram, and it looks like he makes his own clothing. So shout out to him. But him and his workout partner, they just had notepads and pens. He was a young guy, and he was working out with the guy he was working out with. I almost said it, but he looked like Greg Doucette, but with longer hair. Yeah. He was like pretty jacked too.
Nice.
Like not overly jacked, but like shredded jack type deal.
Yeah.
Like Greg Doucette, like how he is. But like I almost said that, which I should have, because that would have been a talking point. But I don't know. Some days I don't like talking to people. Some days I do. So.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But the only other thing we were going to talk about, we'll probably save that for next time because we're already over time.
Okay.
But anything else you want to add? You got Planet Fitness, Massachusetts, working out with your brother, and you're doing. Maybe I should ask you this. So are you just doing no Valsalva maneuver, and then are you doing just like bodybuilding splits right now? Because and you're waiting it out pretty much.
Yeah, just bodybuilding splits. To be honest with you, like because I have like very low symptoms of pain or no symptoms of pain most days, I'll probably like forgo surgery, maybe even for like multiple years or like ad infinitum. But I've been staying like crazy active, like 30,000 steps, like on like most days.
Yeah, I know. I've been noticing you're almost like beating me. I'm like, how the hell is Robert beating me? But after today, you're gonna have to catch up a lot because I'm already at like 35,000 steps.
I won't catch you today. I think I'm at 17 right now. I'll be in like the low 20s, I think. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of biking, playing some tennis, basketball. I shot some hoops with a buddy today. Yeah, stuff like that. Just trying to stay as active as possible and enjoy summer on the Cape.
Sweet, buddy. Well, thank you. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, OnlyFans. Wait, never mind. Sorry, we're not on there yet. But make sure you follow us. Message us if you want to see anything else. Please check out social media. We've been posting a lot, and then we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.